Arsenal's title charge derailing yet again. 3 times they failed to win from leading positions in 2026, and we thought there's only one man to call to join us this morning.
North London forever, whatever the weather.
I do think Arsenal can win the quadruple because I'm asking myself, who's going to beat us? We are the best squad assembled in the history of world club football.
Mane's cross, all spilled by the goalkeeper and driven in! Off the post and in!
I think we are now the best team in Europe, and I think we're going to show it. I think we're going to win the Premier League at a canter, probably by my birthday, March 30th.
It's 2-2 at Molineux, and Arsenal are poised to drop points.
Honestly, a team that could genuinely win the quadruple.
How do you see Pep's body language at the moment?
He's gone. Guardiola is gone.
You're so funny.
From 1-0 down, Pep Guardiola's side are in front, and they are not giving up hope of reeling in Arsenal just yet.
We are going to win the league. I wouldn't be surprised if we win it by mid-March.
And a flood of money has come in on Coral this morning. Arsenal to win nothing this year. What about that, Gab?
Could happen, mate.
So he was so smug before Christmas about Arsenal's guaranteed title. Let's see if he is just as confident right now. It's the brilliant Piers Morgan.
Good
morning, Piers.
Good morning, gentlemen. I've got to say that when the invitation came in earlier this morning via my PA, saying that Gabby in particular was, quotes, desperate to talk to me, every sinew of my torso was screaming, I'd rather shoot myself with a rusty World War I rifle. And then I thought, you know what? We've had enough Arsenal bottle jobs for one 12-hour period. It's actually time to face the music, face the pressure, stand up and show this Arsenal team what you do when the heat is on. You don't run away, you don't hide, you actually stand up and you take them on, which is something we singularly failed to do last night.
What's this going to tell us about Mikel this weekend coming up, Piers? Arsenal strong favourites to beat Tottenham.
Well, I couldn't think of a better place to go, frankly, than Tottenham on Sunday. And I'm presuming that between now and then, Mikel Arteta, who I've become a massive fan of, I think he's going to read them the riot act quite rightly. And I think he's going to ask them, all of them individually, well, how much do you want this? You know, you can be chokers again, as we have been for the last 3 seasons. We have, I still believe, it was a good debate that came after the last time I was on about the strength and depth of the squad. But frankly, last night, the kind of history I thought we might make this season did not include the fact that, did you know this? That there has been no side that's been top of the Premier League in history that has ever choked a 2-goal lead against someone in the relegation zone. And it's not just any team in the relegation zone. This Wolves side is arguably one of the worst teams I've ever seen in the Premier League. So how on God's earth did we build a 2-goal lead and then just fall asleep, which is exactly what we did? And the lack of intensity and passion and desire and drive in that second half. And I'll make one exception, because he's often the exception when this happens. Declan Rice is the standard I want the rest of this team to aspire to be like. Yeah. Declan Rice last night was trying everything in his powers to galvanise the team around him to play at the intensity level he was playing at. And he's done this time and again this season when I see morale and heads go down, and it's just not good enough. Yeah. But, you know, look, it's still in our hands. Yeah. We could obviously go and beat Tottenham on Sunday, and then here's my advice for Mikel. He might be ahead of me. But we have unusually, in a massive season when we're in full competitions, next week we have a week off, right? We're not playing again until we play Chelsea the following Sunday. I want these guys on a plane somewhere warm on Monday morning until Friday. I want them playing zero football. They look completely mentally frazzled and physically jaded. So let's just give them a break. Take the pressure off them. put them on a beach, let them play beach volleyball like the pilots did in Top Gun, the first one, which then led to them going and wiping out the enemy, right? But give these guys a break. They just look, they are like a coiled spring of tension.
Piers.
And I think that's what I saw last night.
Piers, when you look at Arsenal, the reason why a lot of people are saying they're going to bottle it again, because 2022, 2023 season, 248 days in first place, 8-point lead, lose the title.
Yeah.
Season afterwards, 76 days in first place. Then you lose it again. This season, you've been 9 points clear. Man City win the game in hand, it's 2 points. These players need to be read all this by their manager, have a big meeting and say, listen, everyone's going to be laughing at us. We can't do it again.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I feared, actually, something like this may happen when City somehow turned that game around against Liverpool. Because had we been 9 points clear after that, that is clearly, when you can lose 3 games and still win the league with only a few games left, obviously you're in a massively better position. But when City turned that round, you could see in City, from Guardiola to Haaland to the others, suddenly they had a surge of renewed belief. And I think that sent, unfortunately for our team, a surge of sudden slight apprehension. And, our record in the Premier League in the last 7 games has been poor. And we have not won games we should have won at a canter. And there's just not this killer. I remember the Invincibles, right? If the Invincibles went 2-0 up at half-time, someone will tell me the answer, but I can't imagine we ever choked a 2-goal lead against anyone in the bottom half of the league. You have to kill off these kind of teams when you take a 2-goal lead. And even at 2 last night, I was watching with my son and a friend of mine, and we were like still tense. We were still like, and it's because exactly what Gabby said. For 3 seasons, we basically choked the league, and we fear it's happening again. Now, we have a better squad, and we have got leaders in that team. Gabriel, Rice, others. They've got to stand up, but they also need a break. And I think we've got a perfect chance next week for a proper reset. Let's go and beat Tottenham, which shouldn't be difficult. They're one of the worst Tottenham teams I've ever seen. We can push them to within, I think, 2 points of the relegation zone if we beat them on Sunday. If that's not a motivation for Arsenal players, then what is? And then we've got another London derby. Actually, I can't think of 2 better games than a North London derby and then a derby against Chelsea to
Piers,
recalibrate.
You're not going to make the Tottenham game, are you, with your hip?
Sadly not, but I am going to make my comeback at the Chelsea game, and I am confident that we're going to win both those games because I do believe in this team and I do believe in Arteta, but I do also think we are just at the moment we're just not mentally in the right place to finish these games. And we've got to get there.
What's your thoughts on Gyökeres? Because he scored 8 goals this season in the Premier League, 3 versus Leeds, 1 versus Forest, 1 versus Burnley, 1 versus Everton, 2 versus Sunderland, 2 of those penalties. And also he's had 0 shots on target in 60% of his Premier League games. Is he the answer?
I like Gyökeres, and I think that the problem for him is he doesn't get the service. And the real crying shame of the last couple of weeks was Havertz getting injured, because the moment Havertz came back in the team, he looked like he knew exactly how to find Gyökeres, and Gyökeres suddenly started scoring. And I think I actually like Saka playing in that role as a 10 last night, because I think he tries to find him. But Gyökeres got barely any service last night. I think if we give that guy the ball, we give him service, he is going to score. And he also draws defenders and all those defenses I've heard about him. I think he's a good player. First season, still finding his feet, but actually he needs the service. And the sooner Havertz gets back in the team and can find him, or if Saka can do that, the better. But look, our front 3 were awful last night, right? I thought the midfield were awful. I thought defence had the worst game they've had for several seasons. Let's not sugarcoat this. I heard you saying earlier, Alan, and you're right. You try and stay positive. We are top of the league. We are 5 points clear. This is not a crisis. We're in 4 competitions. We are literally in a chance of winning the quadruple. But let's not be overly positive after a night last night. Let's focus on the fact that was a debacle, and we have got to be better than that.
So, Piers, just finally, Arsenal to win it by March, like you said, or is it now by April?
I will concede. I mean, all my other statements are still technically true, but I will concede our chances of winning the Premier League by mid-March have slightly receded to 2-0. No, look, it's going to be a hell of a run-in. City are going to be breathing all over us. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Newcastle beat them on Saturday and we beat Tottenham on Sunday, and suddenly it looks like we're all worrying about
Does
nothing.
Mikel remind you of Gareth Southgate by any chance? Maybe the nearly man that can't get you over the line?
Do you know what, Gabby? I knew where you were going to come from about this. So I studied your own record
Here
as
we
a
go.
footballer, right? And I'm not denigrating you. I love a one-club player, right? But it always suggests nobody else wanted you. And I looked at your record, and I was like, how many honours did the great Gabby win in his playing career? Perhaps you'd like to tell your audience how many trophies you won.
Do you know what I did
as
with
a
though,
player?
Piers?
Did you win a trophy?
Player of the month, where some top player didn't win.
Yeah, you
mate.
did. What did you ever win?
Did you see that
trophy?
on the record?
I did. It was the only thing on your record because you never won a trophy. So whilst I will take a certain amount of ribbing from you about this, I'm kidding. You were a top player, but I do think yes, we'll take our mockery. I like what Arteta said about we'll take all the bullets. That's fine. I woken up this morning to more WhatsApps than when I got turfed out of Good Morning Britain. So it's fine, right? It's fine. Have your fun. But let me assure you, we will reset. We will beat. You can play this back in 10 days. We will beat Tottenham. We'll beat Chelsea. City will choke, probably against Newcastle on Saturday. We will win the league, and I still believe we're going to win the quadruple. And then all of the mockery is going to get reposted by me to 9 million people on my X feed for the next calendar year. Enjoy those onions.
Nice one, Piers. Enjoy the weekend. Hopefully we'll speak next week again.
What a guy.
Nice.